So we constantly hear from anti-vaxxers, one of their core arguments is we want freedom of choice. We don't want vaccines forced upon us. And my first question is well, literally this, is there is no problem with vaccines. Vaccine injury itself is incredibly rare, and there are tons and tons of actual information out there that basically show vaccines are safe. Now, you're relying on people who aren't experts in vaccinations or immunisation, and yet when one of those experts, like particularly an immunisation expert, gets confronted by one of you, you instantly shut down. They are, not telling the truth. So part of this freedom that you want relies on you, the parent, getting the correct and accurate information. Now, these people, the anti-vax side, are not giving the correct, accurate information. Instead, you get vaccines cause autism. We're just questioning the safety of vaccines. They're not. They basically don't want to be vaccinated. And that isn't a freedom you should be thinking about giving your child, because you then open up your child to all these diseases, which could potentially kill them. Let's not mince bones. So the fact that you are refusing to vaccinate your child based on bogus, false information is a good thing. I'm sorry, but it is. Because you are refusing to listen to experts, and when experts do approach you, you do this and just say, you're lying, you're lying, you're lying, and then what? You put your child at risk. So this argument that anti-vaxxers want freedom of choice is just outright outlandish nonsense. Because the only freedom you're really given is, do you want the safety of your child being covered from deadly vaccines, from deadly viruses, or do you want your child to potentially succumb to those viruses? And then this also feeds into herd immunity as well, because remember, we've talked about herd immunity as well, that to keep these levels low, you need at least a certain amount of your population to be vaccinated. And this means constant vaccinations. This isn't, we'll stop for 5 years and then we'll just continue. It's everyone must be vaccinated to, I think they say about 90% of your population must be to keep herd immunity. But of course, what have you seen? Throughout Europe, throughout the US, herd immunity has fallen below 90%. What has been the result? Measles outbreaks. Who has been affected? The people who weren't vaccinated are the ones that were affected. So, freedom comes at a price. And it comes at a price of you and your fellow anti-vaxxers putting people like even me at risk. Because there's potentially the problem of where viruses can mutate. And we've seen this in other areas. You've seen this, the superbug that hit hospitals a couple of years ago that was, resilient to medicines that we were using. That was an adaptation because of, the the medicines in the use, the virus adapted. So this is a possibility that this could happen. This isn't scaremongering. Because you could end up with, a case of super measles that now basically renders all people who are vaccinated with the measles virus useless. In fact, it could affect us even more, because obviously the virus has had to mutate to be able to affect people who have the antibodies to fight measles. So, I'm sorry, but the vaccine freedom of choice argument doesn't fly. Because, first of all, to actually have freedom of choice, you've got to have correct and accurate information. And the people that are supposedly giving you correct and accurate information are lying to you. For one reason alone. It gets you to buy ridiculous anti-vax nonsense and paraphernalia, supplements, whatever these people are selling you, and it gets money in their pocket, and then you end up with a child with potential measles. So that's essentially the freedom you want. Well, I'm sorry, but you deserve to have vaccines forced upon you if you aren't willing to listen to experts in that field.